Hi everyone, welcome back. I'm Di, and today I am bringing you my diary entry for the week of October 23rd through 29th. Today is October 29th. So I have a little bit of reading to catch you up with, and a little bit of knitting, and then we'll do a little bit of video game chat at the end of this, I think. So yeah, it's been going pretty good as far as my reading goes. I do feel like I read a lot this month. There are 2 more days in the month, and I will be focusing on reading one particular thing, but we'll get to that in a little bit. Let me tell you what I have read so far this week. So, I have finished Devil's Line. So I read Volume 12, Volume 13, and Volume 14. So I was right when I said that Volume 14 was a series of short stories. It really is just like checking in on the characters after the aftermath of what happens in the 13 volumes that precedes that volume. I really feel like the whole tone for me of the series was dampened by the fact that I thought that the series was going to be something that it ended up not being. So this series is a series about relationships. It's not really a series about the conflicts between humans and vampires and trying to live together or anything like that. It's about relationships. And I'm not really the type of person who enjoys reading things like that. If you know me, you know I don't read a lot of romance novels. You know I don't read a lot of contemporary because I don't enjoy reading stuff like that. I'm not into family drama. I'm not into drama. Definitely not into relationship drama. Now, I do read a fair share of shoujo manga, which typically for me is a lot of high school romance, but that's like fluffy high school romance, and we're talking about high school students, so I do give that a little bit of a pass. Plus, I know what I'm going into when I'm reading a series like that, and when I went into this series, that is not what I was prepared for. I wasn't prepared for a whole bunch of relationship drama. I wasn't prepared for the large cast of characters, and not even only focusing on what I perceive is our main couple, but a bunch of other couples. This is really about relationships. And so, even though this was an entertaining read for me, I think I need to reread it sometime in the future with a different mindset, because me going into this thinking that it was going to be like political intrigue and there was going to be this war between the CCC and the Devil's Line members and all of that, that's not the focus of this series. The focus of this series is on each character and their relationships with each other. So I do feel like I was a bit misled when I was reading summaries for this series and stuff. I thought, I was okay with the fact that we'd be following a main couple, but I really thought that a lot of what was going to be going on around them was how other people looked at their relationship, and like I said, the CCC, the Devil's Line, and all of that stuff happening around them. Maybe the conflicts that come up in society because there are people who don't agree that devils or vampires should exist in society, that they should be vanquished and taken care of and not be working with other humans and things like that. And maybe like the science part, because there is a science part in here where they're trying to formulate drugs to try to help devils live peacefully with humans. That's not what this is. We get a little bit of that. I would say this is 3/4 relationships and 1/4 of everything else, unfortunately. Yeah, so I was kind of disappointed with how this series went for me. Again, I feel like if I go into this later with a different mindset, now that I know what the series is about, I may have a better experience with it. I don't think I want to watch the anime of this. There were definitely some things where I was just like, why was that included? Like the whole Spicy Volume 11. I don't understand why that was there. It didn't seem to move the story along for me at all. And yeah, I think what was done in this last volume, the little short stories that we get, as far as the content that was done in Volume 11, was done better. I would have much preferred to have the scenes that were in here, Volume 14, in Volume 11, and have skipped over all of the spicy content. It didn't do anything for the story. I just don't understand. Like a lot of things that happen in the series, I don't understand. It's very confusing to me as to why certain things were included. I wish I could pick the mangaka's brain because I'd really love to know. I also feel like there was a lot of misleading, especially with this character here. And that's all I'm going to say about that, because I feel like if I say anything more, it's going to be spoilery. But I feel very let down with how this character was used in the series. I think that's where I'll leave that. But it was okay. I ended up giving the rest of these 3 volumes 3.5 stars. This whole series, for me, 3.5 stars. Which basically means that it was an enjoyable read. Probably wouldn't reread it again. But this one's a little bit different because I do feel like I should reread it again with a different mindset. I feel like a lot of what I didn't enjoy about this series was because I thought it was going to be something else. So I'm going to give this one a little bit of time. I'm going to go into this the next time knowing that this is about relationships, and then try to read it again and see what kind of experience I get then. Because, you know, on rereads, you do pick up things that you didn't pick up on a first read. But for me, I think going into it with a different mindset will also help my enjoyment of this. Because there were definitely things that I enjoyed, but I think because I was going and looking for certain things and being let down that a majority of this story was about relationships, that's what caused a lot of my disappointment here. So I will try this again, but as of right now, it's still a 3.5 star for me. So I did finish a series though, so that's great. And it's a series that I've had on my shelf for a while. I know the mangaka has another series out right now called Blackguard. I also don't think I'm going to be jumping into that one anytime soon with how I feel about Devil's Line. I have 3 volumes of that series. I do think I need a little bit of time to step away before I read that one. So what I'll probably do is, when I feel ready to read another series by this mangaka, I'll read Blackguard first, decide whether or not I'm going to want to continue with that one, and then later revisit Devil's Line. So it probably will be a year, maybe, I would say. I don't know how long Devil's Line is going to stay fresh in my head, just because I've got kind of a nagging annoyance with it at the moment. Just because I feel let down. I do feel let down by the story. And yeah. So 3.5 stars. I read Volume 1 of Yamada-kun and the Seven Witches. This one is by Miki Yoshikawa, published by Kodansha, rated older teen. This was part of my manga advent calendar last year, but Camp Crystal Lake, my team has a prompt that says features witches, and so I picked up this one because I did have to read it for my manga advent calendar project from last year anyway. Technically, I'm supposed to read Volume 2 as well, but start with Volume 1, right? This is a story about a guy who is kind of on the bottom end of the school social ladder, and he is having, not good grades, and he just gets really, really frustrated. And it's after a test, he's gotten a low score, and he is walking up the school stairs, and he sees the smartest girl in school, and she ranks top of every test. She's in his class. He gets really, really irritated when he sees her and marches up the stairs past her. Well, he kind of misses his footing at the top and falls down, taking her with him. And when they come to, he realizes that he is in her body. So he starts freaking out, right? Because he doesn't know what happened. Where is his body? He can't find his body. Turns out she is just going on about her normal life. She's in class. And so this volume kind of has them figuring out what happened, how to get their bodies back, and things like that. And I thought it was really interesting. It's very entertaining. Not quite sure how I feel about this yet. I'm definitely going to go into the next volume and see sometime soon. I think I have like 7 or 10 volumes of this or something. I picked it up in a bundle from Right Stuff several years ago, and I just never read it. I never even opened it. And yeah, so it's been a long time coming, me reading this series. I do foresee that the two people, this girl here and our guy character, are probably going to get together. That's just the feeling I get. And so, yeah, I'm interested to see about that. There's also a little thing where they're trying to keep their body swaps secret from other people, and other people start to notice weird things. So that was enjoyable. I gave that one 4 stars. I finished all of my Camp Crystal Lake Readathon prompts with that one, so collected my bonus points for finishing all of my prompts, so that was great. I also finished Museum Volume 1. This one is by Ryosuke Tomoe. I believe I was supposed to read this for my Rotating Decks TBR game as part of the Humble Bundle prompt. I really enjoyed this one as well. So this one I probably enjoyed the most of all 5 of the volumes that I'm going to talk about today, because this is a serial killer story. So basically, we have a serial killer. We see scenes from both the serial killer's perspective and the police detective's perspective. So if you are someone who enjoys shows like Criminal Minds, this is going to be a series you're going to want to check out. At least as far as Volume 1 goes. That's all I've read. This is a 3-volume series. This is another series I really want to read some more of soon. It was just really, really enjoyable. It is rated mature. There are some things in here, naked bodies. There's a masturbation. And obviously the gore. You do see victims getting cut to pieces sometimes and things like that. But it's a very intriguing serial killer mystery. And I'm looking forward to seeing what's going to happen in the next volume, because at the very end of Volume 1, something happens to one of the police detectives. That's all I'm going to say. Really, really interesting, though. I haven't heard anybody talk about this one, but it's definitely down my alley, being a serial killer mystery and all of that. So I'm looking forward to continuing with that one. So I gave that one 4 stars as well. But yeah, that's everything I have finished this week. So I finished my Camp Crystal Lake Readathon prompts. I finished my Rotating Decks TBR game prompts. So I am good to go for November. I also stole a lot of prompts from the other team for Camp Crystal Lake Readathon. So that is great. And what I'm currently reading is Craved by Tracy Wolff. This is the first volume, or first installment in the series. I always say volume because I read a lot of manga. It's the first installment in the series. This, I thought, was a vampire human kind of like a Vampire Academy, but a human ends up going to it. But that's not what it is. But I don't think I should say what it is because I think it's a spoiler. I didn't find out exactly what was going on at the school until we were about 70% into this book. So, yeah. It is a vampire-human romance, though. A la Twilight, maybe. I told you last week that I definitely got those, like, feelings. Like, you know how we have our main character who is going to a new state. The climate is definitely not what she's used to. She's a new girl at school. And then she meets this really nice looking, brooding guy she immediately falls for type of thing. It's kind of basic kind of feelings of Twilight. But it is different. It is different. Our main character is constantly getting injured in this story, and it seems to constantly be in danger. I do like that so far in this book, it has kind of poked fun at itself because the book Twilight does come up as something that our main character receives from her male love interest. You know, kind of as a warning because she doesn't know that he's a vampire. And I don't think that's a spoiler at all. But I won't tell you everything else that's happening at the school because I do think that is a spoiler. But I did crack up a little bit out loud when that whole scene was going down and she had received Twilight from him. And she had never read it, so she had no idea, you know, what it was about. And so she was really interested in reading it. And it was just kind of funny. But I'm 79% done with this book. And something just happened where I'm kind of curious to see if something else is going to happen, because I feel like we're obviously heading towards the climax of the story, but it almost feels like it's too soon for what has happened to be happening. Like 20% left in the book, and it just feels too early. Unless this kind of scene drags out, which that's kind of going to be a downer, because for me, this book has been really entertaining. I've kind of been reading it like I remember reading Twilight. It's going really fast for me. I'm really, really enjoying it. Is it like great literature? No. Do I read great literature a lot? No. But it is enjoyable for me. It's been a long time since I have read something like I read Twilight. And I really feel like this is going to be akin to that as far as the reading experience for me goes. Where I'm just going to want to read and read and read and read the next volume, there I go again, volume. The next installment. I think there's like 5 or 6 installments out right now. I think one is coming out soon, or has come out soon. I can't remember. But I was very surprised to see how many there were out. So, yeah. Really enjoying it. Even if it's, you know, teen romance, teen drama. Again, here we go back to what I was saying before. If I know what I'm getting into, I can enjoy something much better. Like, I was mentally prepared for the fact that this was going to be teen drama, teen romance, a la Twilight. And that's pretty much what I'm getting. Which is probably why I'm enjoying it as much as it is. If I had gone into Devil's Line thinking it was young adult, I say young adult because they're like early 20s. But adult romance with drama, I probably would have enjoyed it better because I knew what I'd be getting myself into. But that, again, different. So, yes, I should be finishing the last 20% of Crave by the end of the month, because then I'll be able to collect the steel points from the other team for that book, because that is Castle Dracula's group book. So I'll get 100 points for that. And yeah, I've done really good so far. I think I have 900 points just based on the entries, but that doesn't include all of the page count bonus points, because you get bonus points for each 100 pages, I think. So the base of the book is like 100 pages, and then you get extra points for every 100 pages bigger your book is that you finish. So I've got like 900 base points, I would say. So I did really well. I read a lot this month. I don't know exactly how much, but I'll get to that in my end of month reading reflections video. I guess we'll move on to some knitting. So I haven't knit very much at all this week either. I thought I'd have this done by the time I talk to you, but I don't. At this point, I'm just like hoping that I'll finish this by the end of the month. But this is where I am with the sock. These are my Crunkled Ghostbusters. I think when I was talking to you last, I was here where the vampire lips were, and I've only done 1.5 repeats of the pattern. I've done not even, well, maybe 20 rows, I think, because I was right here when I talked to you last. So I do about 50 rows on the foot for my typical sock. So I've got about 30 more rows before I start the toe. That should be doable for me by the end of the month. Meaning I've got tonight, tomorrow, and Monday. So if I can get myself to pick these up, I will. But I have been having a little bit of arm pain. So my left arm has been hurting. And I think that has to do with the fact that I have been playing video games. So video games has been taking up my knitting time. I have started playing Genshin Impact. So I have wanted to play Genshin Impact for a while now. It wasn't out on Nintendo Switch. It still isn't out on Nintendo Switch. I was hoping that it was going to come out on Nintendo Switch because that is the gaming platform I am most familiar with as far as the controls go. I do play every once in a while at PS4, but it always takes me a long time to get into it because I'm just not familiar with the symbols and all of that. And so, yeah. Well, it's been a while now since Genshin Impact has come out, and my daughter and I have been talking, and, you know, she has missions that she needs to do that need co-op, and she's tried to do co-op with other players before, and they're not very nice. And it's just kind of weird. I watched her play one co-op once, and you know, she plays on a device. She doesn't do like communicating. There's no like keyboard or anything. She doesn't do that. This was like literally her first time co-oping with a team to try to clear an event, and this person that was like the head of the team that she had joined was like barking out instructions over the keyboard, and it was just very strange. I don't know. And so it kind of turned her off of doing co-op stuff. So we've been talking recently about maybe getting another PS4 so that I could like try to get my character up to par so that we could co-op together. And so I bit the bullet and bought a PS4. So now she has one and I have one. And so we have been able to play together. It's been really nice. She's helping me level up my players and showing me where all the treasure chests are and helping me expand my map and basically helping me to learn how to play. Because if I had to teach myself how to do this, I would be more terrible than I already am. But it's been really fun. It's something that we can talk about together. We've been playing together a couple times, just roaming around the world and stuff. I am much more attracted to the whole, like, foraging aspect of Genshin Impact rather than the fighting aspect. I like to explore the world and, pick up, like, mint or apples or, finding chests and things. And, yeah, that's much more my thing. She's much more into the fighting and all of that, but that's definitely more her style of gameplay. But it's been nice so far, so I'm slowly but surely working my way through. It's a really nice, like, game. I really enjoy the animated style. And like I said, I do like going around and, walking through the grass. And the soundtracks are amazing. I really, really enjoy the soundtracks. But every time that music plays and, a Hilitroll is after you, like, I get, like, really anxious. I know, I'm strange. But other than that, the music is amazing. I like to swim. It's just real calming just to be around, as long as there's no Hilitrolls. That's what makes it nerve-wracking for me. But I've been really enjoying playing Genshin Impact. In fact, last night, let me tell you a story. So I've been having a little bit of an issue with my editing software the last couple weeks. And so yesterday I had tried to upload my Rotating Decks TBR game for November, which by the time you're seeing this video is already up. So if you're interested in seeing what my plans are for reading in November, you can check that out, link down in the description box below. But when I had tried to put the clips together the first time, the program was just acting really strange and it was really, really slow. And so I shut it down and I tried to reload, and the second time it reloaded, it was better. Like, it acted normally, but some of the clips wouldn't show the preview in the editing section. I could still see it in the preview section, so I could edit it, but it didn't show up on the timeline. And so I was like, so I rendered it, I exported it to YouTube, and then when I was watching it on playback, the pictures of the books that I needed to put in did not show up. And so I was like, ugh. So to re-render it again. And so I tried to export it a different way to see if that would help. And that ended up going all the way to the end and then failing. So I had to kind of put in the clips and do a little bit of fiddling around with that, and then re-render that, and then re-upload to YouTube. So I was up till about 5 o'clock this morning. So while I was doing all of that after midnight, I just decided to play some Genshin Impact. So yeah, it's been fun. But I was up till 5 o'clock in the morning this morning, so I'm a little tired. My arm is still bothering me. It started bothering me yesterday, like this whole, like all the way down to my elbow. So yeah, I think just my posture is probably not good, or I'm tensing up when I'm playing. But I'll need to like work on my posture or take a break or whatever. I don't play for too long. It's become my lunchtime video game playing, so I get my daily commissions done during lunch, and yeah, so that's what I've been doing instead of knitting. I know, shame on me. But I do feel like my reading has gotten back to almost where it used to be at the beginning of this year. So I'm feeling much better about that now, especially with the end of the year. And I think my goals are pretty much in order as far as the number of books I wanted to read this year. I mean, novels. I do include manga in my annual count, but I always set a sub count of novels that I want to read, and I think I'm on track to get that done. I'll need to reevaluate soon. But I'm feeling much better about my reading now. So that's really good. I am going to be doing my Manga Advent project again in December. So I don't know yet how that's going to impact my TBR game. I'm still trying to figure everything out, but you will definitely know when I know. And that time of the year is coming up, so I'm really, really looking forward to that like holiday feel. Plus, I go on vacation every year at the end of November, so I'm really looking forward to that. Just a couple more weeks of work, and then I'm off for a couple of weeks. So, yes, that's everything that has happened this week. Nothing really exciting, but I am feeling good about the fact that I got all of my things done that I needed to get done as far as reading goes for the month of October. So that is great. Let me know down in the comments below how your readathon progress ended up at the end of the month. What was your best and worst reads of the month? I'd love to know that as well. I am doing a personal challenge in November. So if you'd like to join me on that challenge, you can hear about it in my TBR game. Again, link down in the description box below. But let me know if you're participating in any readathons or doing any personal challenges for November or from November to the end of the year. I would really like to know. And if nothing else, you'd just like to let me know that you were here. If you could leave me a witch, is there a witch or a witch hat or a black cat emoji down in the comments below, that would be greatly appreciated and would really help me out. And that will do it for me today. So I hope you're all doing great. I hope you're all safe and healthy. And until next time, take care and smile always. Bye.